And since that day, I lost 130 pounds, or 48.8 kilograms. "14 months ago, weighing 526 pounds or 238 kilograms, I was staring at the wheelchair in my music room, barely able to stand on my crutches. And I thought to myself, is this the end? If I sit down in this wheelchair, the next step is amputation of my legs, because there will not be enough circulation of blood. What about my family? I don't want to die. I really want to choose life." I decided to do intermittent fasting, and through swimming a lot, 4 kilometers 4 times a week, and eating really a little of food, I got my way down to almost 220. I even at a stage pushed it down to 215, but I gained that back. So that weight did not help anything for my mobility and general health. A few months passed, and then I looked at my medical results, and I saw that the one thing which stands out, even when I cycled a lot, my insulin levels are high, but my blood sugar, fasting blood sugar, is normal. I had all the symptoms of the metabolic syndrome: high blood pressure, low HDL, high triglycerides, huge circumference, and also high insulin levels. But my sugar was normal, and that was the discrepancy about how they treat the disease. Luckily for me, I got hold of Dr. Jason Fung's book, The Obesity Code, and I read through that, and I came to the conclusion that I do have hyperinsulinemia, high insulin. I don't have an explanation, because I'm not medical trained, of why my sugars are baseline and not high. I'm thankful for that, but that didn't help for my predicament. So a few months passed, and we got to the 8th of August 2022, and I thought to myself, what do I have to lose if I fast for 100+ days? So here we are today. We're more than 100 days into the fast. I would like to share my journey with you. I want to tell you what is changing. At this stage, I can share with you that my health has a huge turnaround. As we speak, my blood pressure medicine was halved. My sugar levels are still, after more than 100 days of fasting, normal, or in the high 4s, which means I can still operate like that. But let us be upfront here, this is not recommended to anyone. You are basically take your own life in your hands. I do have medical support behind me, so I understand what I need to do, but I want to share my journey with you, and we're going to start off by covering the first 50 days. So let me just emphasize, I did read a lot, and I don't recommend anyone to do what I am doing at this stage. It is plainly stupid. If you read the Obesity Code of Dr. Jason Fung, and you check out his videos on YouTube about intermittent fasting, that is more than sufficient for anyone to get his health back. I don't recommend anyone to do this unless there is direct medical supervision involved. There's much better ways to do it. It's just a matter of time scales. So from my side, if you think about fasting, go first of all, if you are obese, go and read the Obesity Code of Dr. Jason Fung. That's a kickoff point. There's no other start. If you want to understand what's going on inside your body, go and read that book. The second thing is, go check out his videos about intermittent fasting. There's lots of other people, but going with the Obesity Code, his videos about intermittent fasting is so self-explanatory that you don't need anything else just to get going. The reason why I decided on this extreme measure is twofold. In the first place, my mobility was gone, and I knew that if I don't get that back ASAP, I will end up in a wheelchair, and the amputation of my legs, which means death to me, will be the next step. The second reason is that the public scolding of my obesity and me as a person were unbearable. I could no longer go into public without seeing people staring at me, and I said that I will no longer endure this. My motivation was in this case more orientated to the public scolding than my actual health. I don't want to be dishonest about my motivation. It is to prove to the general public the premise that obese people don't have self-control. I wanted to put to rest. My name is Francois, but for this channel purposes I will call myself Voce. Voce is an Italian word which means voice, but it is also to express yourself in sound. I want to be the voice for a small portion of obese people who maybe feel like I do, that the broader society treats them with disdain. Maybe I can help you to get your self-respect back, and maybe by sharing my journey you feel that you can stand up for yourself again and try again to go forward, and maybe you can also get your health back. I got into the scale and I was at 486.5 pounds or 220.7 kilograms. So on 8 August 2022, 21:47, I started to fast. Prior to the fast, I was doing keto to prepare my body to burn fat. Now, in a moment of stupidity, I decided to have a feast before I start this journey, and had pizza with my children. Not a good idea if you try to fast, because immediately you will have hunger pains because you're not used to eating pizza. So day one was absolutely hard. After 23 hours, I wanted to tear my hair out of my head of the hunger. But I knew at that stage, if I eat something here, I'm done. This is the moment where I have to make decisions. Well, I decided to push through. I got to day 2, day 3, and the hunger was eating me. So the hunger hormone ghrelin was like a gremlin to me at that stage. It was tearing me apart, but I said I'm gonna push through at least until day 5. Then I got the trick how to jippo the system. If you're really hungry and you take an espresso shot, it helps for the hunger. Good plan on paper. You will understand what I tell you in a few days' time. Let's move on. Day 6, day 7, somebody phoned me and said, I got bone broth, allowable on fast, pure grass-fed beef bone broth. I got it and I had a small cup of that, and it was very soothing. It was still cold at that stage, and I had it. And the next day I had another cup. But boy, oh boy, the third day of having broth, it just was vulgar. I could not get it down. So it went down the drain. So the espresso was still doing its thing. Hungry, espresso, carry on. So then came day 11, 12. In the meanwhile, the weight was coming down slowly. My first significant goal I wanted to reach was 438.7 pounds, or in our South African units, it is 199 kilos, less than 200 kilos. That was my goal weight. Day 15 came, I got on the scale, and I was 199 kilograms, and I was totally ecstatic about that. My first goal achieved. But everything has a twist. Also on day 15, my sense of bitterness intensified 100, I believe, actually if I say 1,000 times, I'm not exaggerating too much. So I lost one of my lifelines, espresso. Nothing black coffee, espresso, I can stomach. It is just the bitterness of bitter you can't imagine if you don't have that taste in your mouth. So no more espressos. So now I'm down to water with lemon, and a little sparkling water. That's my 3 things I can drink. So day 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, it's just you don't eat anymore. You take your vitamins, there's a regime in your vitamins you have to take, and you carry on. Having your lemon water. I can't do the infused water. I did try the tea again. The tea is not doing it for me. It's not as bitter as a coffee, but it doesn't help anything for me to feel more comfortable or anything, so I just dropped it. So there was not much excitement for the next 10 days up to day 35. It is just fasting. Nothing changes. And round about day 36, the next change happened. Now, with intervals, your mouth gets dry, extremely dry, and that causes you to wake up a lot at night, and there's a low level of insomnia kicking in. I was prepared for this. I watched a podcast of Dr. Jason Fung with Peter Attia on, and if you can get your hands on that podcast, it's available on Spotify. It is immensely interesting, and if you want to fast longer than 7 days, that will help you a lot. But and they explain that insomnia will kick in if you do longer fasts. That is, and you must learn how to handle it. So mentally, I was prepared for that, and when it started, I thought it's going to be insomnia because of things in your mind. I didn't think it would be a dry mouth. So that is the observation I made, that the insomnia is driven by a dry mouth, not by activity in the brain. My mobility was changing, I'm still walking with my crutches, but I can stretch the distances. So for the first time, I could go out into my yard, walk to my lapa, go back to the house, and I was starting to get really hopeful that this can work as long as I can proceed. The rest of the days up to day 50 was really uneventful. I noted the whole time that my dry mouth impacts my sleep. What is interesting is my blood sugar were constant between 4.8 and 5.6 in the morning. So I was very energetic. My brain was as clear as ever. Just that sensation of there's no fog in your mind. You are really clear-minded. We got to day 50, and after 50 days, I was down to 398.4 pounds, the first time under 400 pounds, or 180.7 kilos, which was giving me exactly 40 kilos down during the fast period. And I would, that is, if I recall correctly, 88.2 pounds. The wonderful thing about day 50 is that I could recall the day I was staring at the wheelchair. And since that day, I lost 130 pounds, or 48.8 kilograms. And I knew that if I can continue from day 50 onwards, there's hope for me to be a normal person again and have a healthy life with my family. For the first time in more than 9 years, I had hope. And that is all you need in life. If you want to share this journey with me, please like and subscribe, and I will share day 51 until day 100 in part 2 of this journey.